Hi Malaika.
Hi Harleigh.
Hello everybody listening. Welcome
Hi,
back
guys.
to Sonder and Salt, the weekly podcast about the magic of eating. You alright?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
This week we have a new country. We have Egypt joining the conversation.
Alan Wassalam.
Proud of you.
Which apparently, according to Google,
Mhm.
wikihow.com,
Yes.
it means welcome.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome, whoever it
Welcome.
is that is out there listening in Egypt. I hope there are a few of you. We've got a growing audience in the US now.
Yeah.
Because the US is so big, we get to see it like state by state when you click into the analytics. And I think we're at like 26 states now.
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all! For a while it was just New York.
Yeah.
It was
like all the boroughs were
yeah,
popping up.
It was just like where we had family members.
Yeah.
And
I think
now-
like Carolina or something.
The one that gets me is Arkansas.
Yeah. Who is that?
Who is
Hi.
Who is that? Like, who is that? And
You should
Alaska.
Yeah, you should leave us a comment or let us know on Instagram.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll stick up a poll on the actual stories this week and just say,
Find out where people are from.
yeah, find out where people are
that would
from.
be cute.
Where our listeners are from. If you are a regular listener and you enjoy the podcast, please do not forget to rate and review. On Spotify, you can click where the stars are and it will invite you to review. And on Apple, you can scroll down to the bottom of the podcast page where it says rate this podcast. Thank you so much to everyone who has left a review so far.
Thank you kindly. 5 stars, nothing less.
Nothing less. Another thing that we can start shouting out now is that we are on buymeacoffee.com, which is a way that you can support creators, podcasters, any form of creator. We don't have a subscription model at the moment, so it is literally just a support donation. So you can buy us ours says buy us a herbal tea.
Yeah.
Buy me a herbal tea to support Sonder and Salt, and the link for that is in the description. Donations to our Buy Me a Coffee help us grow the team.
Yeah.
Outsource. It is still just me and Malaika doing every single
Fight for our life.
part of this podcast, and if you love it,
Yeah.
if you love us, help
Help
us.
me.
help me help you get a better podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. For
I
real.
think that's what we're going at
we
here.
have loads of ideas and things we want to do, but we're at capacity.
We are at capacity. We have reached the limit of our resources.
Yeah.
What is your food highlight of the week?
Is it not our food highlight of the week this week?
I guess.
Yeah. So this week, guys, earlier this week, me and Harleigh spent the day together. We were celebrating all of the achievements from Q1. And if you don't follow us on Instagram, then go ahead and check out our Instagram and you can see that we were featured in The Observer. We were featured in BBC Good Food.
Face of Yo Sushi.
Exactly. So we had a good Q1 over at Sonder and Salt HQ. So we thought that we would celebrate that, and then we would also sit down and share ideas and think of ways that we want to, give you guys a better podcast for the rest of the year. And so as part of that celebration, we took ourselves out to Norma. So Norma is a restaurant in Fitzrovia. It is a Sicilian, Moorish, Italian restaurant. It says served over 3 characterful floors with a cocktail bar and private dining room.
Yeah.
So it was
fresh fish counter in the window.
Right at the front.
Right at the front.
They've got a little bit of an alfresco section at the front part.
Yeah.
And then it's really nice kind of decor, quite grand.
Quite 60s, is that 60s?
Yeah, like
decor?
retro-ish.
Yeah. Very
kind
they call it like mid-century. No, I don't think it's older than that.
No.
It gave me more like classic vibes.
Yeah.
Very classic.
Yeah, it's got a couple of booths and that kind of thing. It was quite nice.
It was. We had we
had a lot.
I was gonna say, not necessarily a 3-course meal, so I think we've spoken about this before. The Italian meal structure is of like snacks, antipasti, primi, secondi, and then dolce. Is that right?
I think so. They had another one there, secondi, and they had like continue, something like that. Contendi,
maybe.
Which was like really large plates.
Yeah, big plates.
Yeah.
So I think I was most familiar with the structure of the Italian meals from eating in Naples. But that's when we spoke about it, when we were talking about food we've travelled for.
Yeah.
So this Sicilian one, I felt like there was 3 sections of the menu for starters.
Yeah.
Because there was snacks, antipasti, and primi, and they were all around the kind of price point of a small portion.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of things. Of course, we got the olives, because if you follow Malaika on Instagram, you already know what it is.
Olives. They weren't my fave.
Yeah, they were Etna olives, right?
Yeah.
I thought they were good. They were very garlicky, which I like. But the olive itself was pitted. No,
it was pitted. Yeah.
Yeah, still had the
Pitted.
pit.
No.
Is it seed?
Did they have the pit inside
Yeah.
of them? Oh no, there were a couple on there that were pitted.
Oh, okay,
but for the
right.
most part, the range on the plate.
Because remember, it had the little dish that we
it was a whole olive. Basically,
yeah, whole olives with what are they called? Like not Calabrian peppers, the little red peppers that you kind of come with it. But that was great. We got a teapot to start actually.
Oh yeah, I got some tea.
Like I needed to cut the gas.
Yeah, I was
before we got stuck in, and then we had a couple of cocktails. Well, I had an Aperol Spritz.
Yeah, the cocktail that I had. I have to be honest with you guys, I can't remember what it was, but it was really
It had raspberry jam in it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Some kind of raspberry jam. I then had an arancina, so one giant arancini ball, which was vegetarian, and it was pea and ricotta inside, which I absolutely love. I love arancini, or arancina, I guess if it's a solo one or it's a massive one. It was very, very nice.
Okay.
You had a...
Hold on. I had a ravioli. I thought it was going to be one large ravioli, but it was about a good 6 pieces.
Yep.
And it was ravioli, grissina courgette, mint guanciale, bronte pistachio, pesto, and basil. Banging.
Yeah, and you gravitated towards it because you now know that carbonara
is made with guanciale, and I didn't know. Yeah.
And it had like cubes of guanciale on top of it, which was
really, really good.
Really good. We will upload all the pictures of this stuff to our Instagram, by the way. We also had the cod fritters. Which
were nice. The cod fritters had saffron, pickled cucumber, dill, licorice aioli. That licorice aioli
was really nice.
It was like you could really taste the licorice.
I thought when we ordered them, in my head they were salted cod, and then when they weren't salted cod, I was like, could have been salted cod.
I think salted cod would have lifted it. I think it would have been banging. It was very fresh fish. Like the fish was flaky. The batter was really light and crispy, but really it just wasn't quite what we expected it to be. Yeah.
Our mains, I guess, moving on to like our bigger plates. Yes. I got the pork dish. Have you got the description of my pork dish?
Yeah, I do. Roasted pork of belly.
Pork of belly?
my eyes are different. Right. Roasted belly of pork, Swiss chard, agrodolce, red pepper, and licorice.
Yeah, I had a licorice thing going on mine as well.
Yeah.
We got the sides.
How was that?
It was good. It was really nice. Yeah. It wasn't quite... The pork belly fat was... It wasn't crackling, but it was like chewy and delicious and perfect. We shared the asparagus and the tomato salad.
So the asparagus had chili, lemon, gremolata, and then it was just black iberico tomato salad, sea salt, black pepper, and I had the pansed pollock, baby artichokes, garlic parsley, morinda tomatoes, capers, and agretti dish. That pollock fish, it was a chunky piece of fish. Like it was really, really nice, super fresh. It had a really crispy skin.
You had samphire as well.
Yeah, it had loads of samphire on top. To be honest, I like samphire when it's crispy. So I didn't love the samphire on top. I probably could have done without it, but the artichokes with the tomatoes and the piece of fish, it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. One thing we forgot, they had a dish of the day. I think it was
the octopus.
The octopus, which was in I think you really liked the
black sesame. It was like a black sesame aioli, I guess, of some sort. The octopus itself was
overdone.
Unfortunately overdone. I think it was probably sous vide well, and then it was over grilled. Or like boiled well, like. It wasn't. It really wasn't giving. Wasn't one of the better octopus. That black sesame, I was rubbing my pork in that. I was rubbing everything I could find in that. It was so good. I love that kind of like flavor profile there of sesame.
Yeah.
And then we weren't gonna get dessert because we were obviously absolutely stuffed.
We were stuffed.
But I decided to go for the lemon and rosemary sorbet. Which was very rosemary-ish. It was a very small portion. It was served in literally half a lemon. The whole portion was the size of a lemon. But it was great, and it cut the gas perfectly for me. It really did what it had to do.
I tasted it. I liked it, but I'm not too big on rosemary.
Right.
And the rosemary really was present.
It was very present.
Yeah, it was present. So as a sorbet, I felt like the texture and the way they balanced the lemon was really nice. But I probably could have done without the rosemary.
As I ordered that, Malaika saw something go past in the restaurant, which was one of the granita, and flagged down the waitress and said, whatever that was.
It was so pretty.
I'm gonna need it.
It was so pretty.
Pretty, but then...
So when I first scooped it, it had an onion type of flavour to it, undertone. It was a bit strange. Towards the bottom, I really started to enjoy it. It was nice. But yeah, there was a savouriness to it that was a bit strange.
Our thoughts were either that it was forced rhubarb and therefore it just wasn't very sweet.
Yeah.
Or that it's like pre-shaved and it's kept in the fridge.
Yeah, and the top of it had picked up an onion flavour.
The top of it was not giving.
Yeah, it wasn't at all. It literally tasted like it had been scooped with an onion spoon.
Yeah, the top of it was giving fridge.
Yeah.
Fridge.
The bottom was nice once I got to the bottom, but obviously as a whole dish, I probably would have preferred the sorbet, if I'm being honest. But overall, nice experience, I would say. It was a nice experience. The pasta was really good. I'd go back for a couple of their pasta dishes.
As much as it sounds like we ate, there was a lot more on the menu than what we got.
Yeah.
And there's 2 floors of seating and a private dining room.
Yeah.
So
super cute.
That's is that our first shared?
It is. We've got a couple coming up. So if you're not following us on Instagram,
we'll say it again.
At Sonder and Salt on Instagram, we've got a couple of trips together coming up in London. A couple of spots we wanted to check out. So definitely make sure you're following us so you can get a sneak peek.
Be the very first to hear the exclusive news.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? Today we're talking about spices, sugar and spices, seasonings. I feel like we had an episode particularly around salt, our namesake, and we spoke about how salt crops up in some seasonings, a lot of premixes and certain flavors, and we spoke a little bit about things like Old Bay and all-purpose seasoning predominantly. So today we want to strip that back a little further, and we just want to talk about individual spices, which is more how we cook, which we discussed in that episode, less premixes. Sometimes, there's a time and a place for them. Yeah. But not today.
No.
Not today.
No.
So today we are going to talk about some of our favourite spices.
Yes.
When I say spice, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
For me, pimento. Pimento and nutmeg. Pimento and nutmeg are like the two biggest spices, I would probably say, and then something like black pepper.
Yeah, I think black pepper is the first thing that's going to come to mind for me. And then, because it's in my spice rack, but it's not really a spice, it's just like dry chili flakes.
Oh, is it not a spice? Is it not considered
spicy?
A spice? Yeah, but is it not?
Well, you tell me, what's a spice?
Okay, wait.
I don't know, because I know there are spices, there are herbs, there are dried herbs, there are ground of all of the above. What is a spice?
So this is a very quick Google.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, a spice is a seed, fruit, root, bark, or other plant substance primarily used for flavouring or colouring food. Spices are distinguished from herbs, which are the leaves, flowers, or stems of plants used for flavouring or as a garnish. And I think one of the key differences between a spice and a herb is that spices are dry.
Yes.
They're dried, dehydrated, etc. Whereas herbs can be either dried or fresh.
So I think visually what that looks like, I tend to try and buy my spices and herbs from the same supermarket so that I end up with all the same containers.
Yeah.
But the dried herbs are in green bottles in Tesco and Sainsbury's, and the spices are in orange bottles.
Or blue sometimes. It depends.
Different brand, but I think the own brand ones have like an orangey kind of label to them. So dried herbs can sit in your spice rack. Salts can sit in your spice rack. Black pepper is a spice that may sit in your spice rack, and then various other spices.
So something like thyme would be a herb.
Dried herb.
You can get.
It's a herb. Yeah, true.
It's a herb. So you can either get it fresh, and I like to keep mine in the freezer, or you can get it dried. And then, like you said, black pepper would be a spice.
Nutmeg.
You can get it whole, or you can get it ground.
Or coarsely.
Well, ground, coarse. Yeah, finely, coarsely ground. Yeah.
So I think some other spices that come to mind that I absolutely love. Cardamom.
Okay.
That is a pod, if anyone's not familiar. It's like a small green pod. Well, I don't know what colour it is when it's like freshly on the tree, but it's green by the time it's dried and is in the spice packet. And then within that green pod, there are black seeds.
Yeah.
So often you can, and this is the beauty of spices, and I guess this conversation is going to go left and right, but you can puncture a cardamom pod and then just put it in like milk, and you can simmer it in with milk to infuse a milk, infuse a custard, like any kind of liquid. You can puncture the main pod and put it in. You can open it, grind down the black seeds inside, the actual cardamom seeds, and put that in anything. You can grind down the seeds. I like to put them in cakes.
Didn't you put some in the blondies you made the other day? Am I making that up? Yeah.
I did like to do that.
What was in that? Was it the rhubarb and white chocolate one?
Yes, but to be honest, it's from a recipe. It's from a Ruby Tando recipe where it's actually raspberry and white chocolate. Oh, okay. I just had rhubarb. I saw rhubarb in Aldi, cheap. Yeah. You know, Aldi, my fave. And I grabbed it. But I love cardamom. Yeah. It's not something that I reach for a lot. I think cardamom is the thing that people don't like sometimes when they get Indian food.
Yeah, and it's quite fragrant. It can quite almost like pop in your mouth
if you find a whole cardamom pod. Same with pimento though.
Yeah, I love pimento. Pimento is probably my favourite spice. Absolutely love it. But I think I mentioned this, I don't know what episode it was where it could have been kitchen appliances. Or no, do you know what it was? It was the second episode of Controversial Opinions where I was saying I don't like I don't like coarse black pepper, and then we were talking about having a coffee grinder to ground spices, and I was saying I like my pimento. Yeah. I prefer it ground unless I'm having ackee saltfish. Yeah. So pimento is the berry of a plant, right? It's seed of a berry of a plant. Do you know what? And it's a berry because it's pimento berries, but I actually don't know where it comes from. Allspice plant is from the allspice. So allspice, also known as Jamaica pepper, never knew that. Myrtle pepper, pimenta or pimento is the dried unripe berry of pimenta something, a mid-canopy tree native to the Greater Antilles, southern Mexico and Central America. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I never knew that.
No, I'm looking at a picture.
I would have sworn up and down that bad boy was born and grown in Jamaica. But I guess that's because it depends on what you call it. I call it pimento, but in other places they're calling it allspice, and therefore how they utilise it.
I realised that I have a chai recipe that has been doing the rounds on socials for a couple of years now. Yeah. And I was looking for it. Actually, no, it's not. When I did my pumpkin spice recipe like years ago, but pumpkin spice, this is a whole nother riff, but when you get like pumpkin spice latte, there's no pumpkin.
It's the spice. It's literally pumpkin spice.
It's literally the spices that they use to season pumpkin pie with. Yeah. And that is just a mix of things that you're probably quite familiar with, just warm tones, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and when you read an American recipe, they call it allspice. Yeah. And I was in the shop like, what is allspice? And then when I actually Googled it, I was like, oh,
and I knew that it's pimento, but I didn't know that
the plant.
I didn't know that it derives from like Mexico and the Greater Antilles. I just didn't think that far outside of Jamaica. Yeah, and pimento, because they love pimento.
Interesting though that it's ended up being called the Jamaica pepper.
Yeah, they probably champion it. Yeah. It's like hibiscus. Yeah. It's called Flor de Jamaica. In some places.
But is that because it's the national flower?
Maybe, but I don't know where it came from.
It's true. Yeah. Because again, we as a plant we call it hibiscus, but as a produce we call it sorrel.
Sorrel, yeah.
So anyway,
nicknames and all sorts.
So that's your favourite
spice, is my favourite. I'd probably say that's my favourite spice. Where when I'm cooking something, sometimes I want to give it a little bit of a
je ne sais quoi.
Just a little something. Do you know what I mean? I feel like pimento is fragrant in a savoury way. Yeah. Whereas I find some spices and even some herbs to be fragrant in almost a perfumey, quite sweet way, and I don't necessarily like that. So I think pimento can add depth to certain things that I really enjoy.
My favourite sweet spice is cinnamon. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love cinnamon ground and cinnamon sugar and cinnamon everything, but cinnamon bark. Yeah. Like, I think is it the official name is like cassia?
So there's like Saigon cinnamon.
Yeah.
And there's cassia cinnamon.
So
I think
cassia
that's the
cinnamon
more popular one.
Is the one I like, where the actual bark looks like tree bark. Yeah. The other one is like little quills. Mm-hmm. The rounds of the cinnamon stick are very papery.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Like that one.
I don't like that one.
I find that one to be more subtle. The one that's like a quill.
I like it.
Like pungent. A rolled up biscuit.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Yeah,
I like
that one's okay. Pungent. But I always feel like it's the fake one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the one that they sell when you actually do buy a little jar of it in the supermarket is usually that one. So what I have is a recycled jar that I've been using for years, and I buy the big bag of, usually in the ethnic aisle, of the cassia cinnamon, and then I just snap it down into small enough pieces and just fill that jar up so it's easier. Okay. But a little bit of cinnamon bark, again, to infuse milk, to infuse a custard, to infuse even like your roux. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll get into how we like to use spices in a minute, but I love a little bit of cinnamon bark in just my English breakfast tea. Okay. A little bit of edge. It helps me have less sugar in the tea. Okay. That sweetness that it gives, it's just, A little bit.
So I like nutmeg. I'm not too... Cinnamon for me is okay. I like cinnamon in like sweet treats, like cinnamon sugar or something. But generally, I prefer what nutmeg does to my food, and I like the nutmeg that comes whole with the casing on it. Have you seen that one? It's almost like a white web around the nutmeg. Have you seen that?
I think so.
I think that might be.
It looks like an acorn.
Yeah, basically. And sometimes you can buy it and it's like rattling.
I've only ever purchased I think once from Spice Mountain, the shopping bar market. I think I've had that once. Okay. But when you buy it, it's in a plastic tub and it's one. It's one nutmeg. Whole nutmeg.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we would always buy the whole nutmeg, and we'd had a tiny little grater, and I'd have to grate the nutmeg.
That's what we buy.
Yeah, and again, I guess it's like with black pepper. When you buy it pre-ground, it's already lost some of its essence. Flavor, yeah. So when you buy nutmeg whole, you get the most potent flavour and essence.
I love nutmeg.
I love nutmeg.
I do love nutmeg. You just remind me how much.
But then I find that I tend to pair nutmeg and cinnamon together.
I do. So when I make porridge, most winter mornings, I will put mostly cinnamon, pinch of nutmeg, and at that point, so I have ground nutmeg. I have ground nutmeg and ground cinnamon and whole nutmeg and whole cinnamon. Yeah, same. But for the ease of the 2-minute oats,
facts.
It's ground.
Yeah, facts. I just need the slightest essence. It's okay.
tiny essence. So that's like really really nice. But when my dad does cornmeal porridge, I can hear the of the whole cinnamon in the porridge, and then the freshly ground nutmeg going in as well. That is, and you just unlocked a childhood memory of the tiny grater.
Yeah, the tiny grater. Yeah, we always had that.
Because again, we're speaking for people who don't know, so if you know, you know. But it's that like supposedly useless edge of the grater. The one that is just violent and looks like hexagons. And you always look at it, you're like, well, I can't grate cheese. I can't grate a carrot. It's for hard spices and like hard things like nutmeg and cinnamon. On that turns it into the most beautiful little dust immediately. Absolutely love it. Yeah. I did one Christmas, maybe not last Christmas before. I got my hand mixer, my hand blender. I tried to put the nutmeg in there to see if it would chop.
You were trying to break the blade.
And the thing was just ricocheting.
Yeah. You were asking too much from that
It
thing.
wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. I think it chopped it once. Yeah, and then the two pieces just kept like hitting the blade. It was a whole mess. So
no, you have to literally grate it
in. Yeah. One of my favorite spices I like to use in my world renowned chickpea curry that I like to make quite regularly is cumin seeds. Okay. Either I use it in the curry itself, or I use a garam masala blend, which I think I spoke about, that my mum's best friend makes for me. Yeah. She does it in her specific spice coffee machine. But cumin seeds, sometimes I just like to toast them in a little bit of oil before I do my rice. Okay. And then I'll cook my basmati rice on top of it. So if I know I'm having a curry, I'm doing a batch of rice and I want it to both have that kind of flavour. Okay. Cumin seeds in rice, absolutely love it. But you've got to toast them ever so slightly first. If you just put them in the water with they're not really going to give.
Well, that's what they say with spices, isn't it?
Toast them.
To get the essence, kind of to get the oil production from the spice going.
Same with chai.
Heat.
Yeah, you kind of toast the spices first, and then you can either put that into your tea liquid, immediately kind of thing. But, and nuts actually. Nuts toasted are always so much nicer. But start my rice
with the oils, the essences in the oils, they say.
A little bit of onion or shallot, a little bit of oil and the cumin, just until they kind of start to jump. Okay. You know when you're toasting a spice and it kind of starts to jump? And then put your rice in and cook it like normal.
I've never tried that before.
Oh, I love cumin rice.
Cumin isn't something I find I draw for a lot. I do have it. But there's something about it that I find a bit overpowering. Especially if I'm having like a curry. I think it might be because, and this is me. Do you know, this is me just talking. I don't know. But I think in like Jamaican curry powders, the amount of cumin that is present, I think, is lower than in like traditional Indian curry. Yeah. So I think I'm just not used to it. So when I taste too much cumin, the food starts to taste like curry powder to me. And I find Jamaican curries, which is why a lot of people in the Caribbean diaspora don't really think Jamaican people make the best curries, because they're quite mild in flavour compared to like a Trinidadian curry or a Guyanese curry.
They have Indian origins with their Caribbean roots. The Jamaican curry powder,
Better Pack. Yeah.
Our curry powders are turmeric heavy. Turmeric.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. So it's not cumin, that kind of level of spice heavy.
Yeah.
It is spice heavy. It's just a milder variation of spice. And our curries, because of that, come out yellow.
Yes. Rather than like a more browny colour.
Yeah, because of the spices that you use. Rashida loves that curry powder.
Better Pack.
Yeah, that's
number one.
Yeah.
number one.
But
Better Pack curry powder.
And it's salt free.
Yeah, it's just
the spices.
Curry powder. It's just the spices.
It's just the spices. So
there's another one. I think it's Mr. Brown's that people use. I think that nurse can cook. I think she likes it. And I see people use it. But you see me? Better Pack. That's it. I love Better Pack powder. My mum used to traipse up and down because you can taste the blend. They've got it down.
That's the thing. So she sends me, when I was driving, the particular like corner shop vibe where the guy leans more into the Caribbean diaspora.
Yeah.
He sells it.
Yeah.
Whereas like more of the local shops don't really sell it that much. They'll just have like Don's River or someone like that. So anytime she's like, "Are you going that way? Don't forget."
Yeah. If you want to make a good Jamaican curry, I think Mr. Brown's, I can't say that I've probably used it once, but Better Pack will really get your stuff going. Yeah.
Really get you going. One thing that doesn't really get the people going.
Yeah.
Is paprika.
It's divisive. I see people on Twitter talking about it, and we usually get a split between people saying paprika
is dead.
Adds nothing.
Yeah.
It just literally, it's just all vibes. And then there's people that say, no, actually it makes a difference. I am a paprika babe, both normal paprika, like sweet paprika and smoked paprika. But generally like just normal sweet paprika, it is it's dehydrated red peppers. Is that capsicum?
Yes.
Yes, capsicum.
Capsicum anum varietals.
Yeah. I do think
in the longum group.
Yeah.
Which also includes chili peppers.
Right. So there's no heat to it.
No.
It is actually just all sweetness.
I use it for sweetness, and I also use it for colour.
Yeah.
So I use it mostly when I'm doing like roasted veg. Mm-hmm. When I'm doing like roasted veg or roasted cauliflower specifically, because I'll just make some kind of herb mix of the flavours I want. And as we just said about the curry, some of the flavours I like just end up brown.
Yeah.
They just end up brown. So I'll usually throw in paprika for that.
Yeah.
But smoked paprika, when you're doing like your own fajita base mix.
Mm-hmm. I love smoked paprika.
I love smoked paprika.
When I'm making like my like chicken wraps or
chicken,
just a simple chicken
dish,
seasoning, smoked paprika, and you have to be really careful with it. You have to be really careful with smoked paprika because it is a lot more potent than just normal paprika.
Yeah.
With normal paprika, what you'll find is if you add too much, you will just end up with very red food, and you can tend to mask the flavour.
Yeah.
With smoked paprika, you add too much, you're not going to be able to hide that. Yeah, there is one that I buy. It's the La Chinata sweet smoked paprika. You can get it in the supermarket. It's this one. The red
yes, with the red.
Yeah, the red tin with the yellow writing.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Is
that is the one I always buy.
What origin is that? Do you know? Is it?
Right.
The branding of it is giving Spain.
It is. It really
Spanish.
is.
But I don't know. That's the
origin is
thing.
Spain.
Oh, there we go.
It's a Spanish product.
It's a very well branded product for it to be that significance in my brain.
Actually, it's got a bit of nice information here. It says it's ground from sweet red peppers in the Extremadura region, southwest of Madrid. The peppers are oat smoked, infusing them with woody notes, and then ground in stone mills to keep temperatures low and help retain natural flavours. So, yeah.
Really good, really nice.
It says here, introduces rich colour and flavours to paellas, as well as adding a warm smoky heat to roast potatoes and butternut squash and flavouring chicken marinades, which is all ways that I
love
use it.
putting on butternut squash.
Yeah.
The other thing I like doing with it is smoked paprika or paprika on top of hummus.
Okay, that's just a little...
something.
Yeah.
Good drizzle of oil or like a chili oil and then like a splash of paprika. I know a lot of people use like za'atar. It's a very distinct mix of seasonings and herbs actually. But I like just like a caramelized onion hummus, or if I make my own hummus, that's when I'll really be dressing it.
Okay.
I'll really be dressing it, bringing out the tahini, you know.
Yeah,
but
lovely.
I do love a bit of a paprika spritz. I'm not sure why it's so. I guess people just think it's not giving.
Sorry, hold on. Right.
I don't really know why people. I guess I understand it's not the strong. Regular paprika is not the strongest, but it is what it is.
I think with a lot of spices, sometimes people just know them. They don't really know how to use them. Where they actually derive from, and how to get the best out of them.
Funny you should say that,
right?
Because was it not you that sent me the video of the chef I think she's a TikTok creator, but I think she's a chef, saying, would you use ground, when you season your food, if you don't throw in these dried seasonings, people in your comments being like, you didn't season your food. But onion is seasoning. There's chopped onion in there. And bell pepper is a seasoning. And it's...
So that video, I think...
It was you.
Yeah, it was me. So I think there was... somebody was cooking.
Yeah.
And people were shouting at her, basically saying your food is unseasoned. And she was saying these dried seasonings that you guys use, they derive from natural
whole
plants,
foods,
vegetables and herbs. I think for me, the distinction is that it's about appropriateness. And sometimes it is more appropriate, or you get best use of the produce, the overall dish, when you use dried herbs and spices, as opposed to everything is not always best fresh. Some things are more potent when they're dried. And so her argument was that I don't need all these dried things because I can use the fresh stuff. Whereas even something like garlic granules, and I just want to say, garlic granules are not the same as garlic powder. That white powder stuff, put that in the bin.
And also garlic salt, because they're all side by side on the shelf.
Exactly. They're all different. Whereas garlic granules is granulated, dehydrated garlic. Garlic powder, I don't know where they get that stuff from, but it's whack. And I really hate it. However, garlic granules are more potent, and you can use less than using like actual
chopped
normal
garlic,
fresh garlic, which has got a sweeter essence to it. So it's about understanding what is appropriate and where. I think everything has a place in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. It's not that one is better than the other. It's that sometimes something is more appropriate. And for like a fresh pasta dish, fresh garlic. But when you're seasoning up your chicken, your curry chicken, I think you can really benefit from seasoning the chicken with dried seasonings, herbs, whatever, and then adding in fresh garlic as well, and it gives more depth to your dish.
I think maybe because of the dishes that particular creator made, because I saw some people in the comments basically saying, so what are you telling me, if I put a chicken breast in a pan with a whole tomato and a whole bell pepper, that this is gonna do the thing? Because you're gonna make a sauce. The chicken is gonna be unflavored and unseasoned, and it's a sauce. Because as well, cooking with salt, she was saying that when a chef, or you hear on MasterChef and they say it's unseasoned, what they mean is salt. And people don't realise that. I know that, but people don't realise that. And it's not that you need more individual seasonings. It's that salt, as we spoke about on the episode, if you haven't listened to it, check it out, enhances flavour. And it also has a scientific purpose in terms of a lot of stuff that you were talking about, breaking down the meat in a certain way, breaking down sometimes it cuts slime in a certain way if you're cooking the meat. It tenderizes. You can dry brine. So even that, like using a salt and a seasoning, it's actually drawing the water out and drawing the flavour in.
Yeah, exactly.
To the meat.
Osmosis, which
me rubbing a dried onion onion.
It's not hitting.
It's not going to do that. That randomly just came into my head and I was looking at all these dried spices.
It was a good point. I actually forgot about that.
That she said that in that video. If we find it, I'll throw it on stories. Not to draw her out any further than she's already been drawn out. Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper, I use it sometimes, very rarely, because cayenne pepper tends to be served dried, isn't it?
I drink it.
Also, oh really?
So I'll put it in my turmeric teas.
Okay, cayenne pepper I have some, and I have bought some over the years. I think I may have bought it off of the back of a recipe. I don't tend to really use dried pepper. Okay. I tend to just use that fresh Scotch bonnet or fresh chili
for chili heat.
So I like the cayenne pepper. I don't know if I necessarily love the flavour of it. I think it's okay, but I do have some, and when I've forgotten, or the Scotch bonnet is not really hitting, it's quite weak, I might add a little bit in just to boost it a little bit.
Something that we just discussed in our food highlight, which is apparently, I think, the world's most expensive spice, saffron. So they used it in the cod fritters that we had. And now you've said that, because I didn't remember that, it only came as a colour. It's why they were so yellow.
But I think I could taste it, because saffron has a floral. It's very subtle. I know I've said this already, but it's like a perfume essence. It's like quite floral. I don't know how to really explain it, but saffron does have a flavour, but it's usually, I feel like with something like saffron, aside from the colour, if they don't add a certain amount, you have to be conscious that, oh, there's saffron in here.
Right.
And when you engage your brain, you're like, do you know what?
I can taste it. Right.
But it's the kind of thing that
I did not get that in the fish.
Oh, I did kind of get it.
I didn't get it in the fish. Maybe because I didn't anticipate it.
Yeah.
I wasn't like aware of it.
But speaking of saffron, actually, when I went to Dubai and I went to the Spice Souk in Dubai, so they've got a really big Spice Souk, which is basically the word for like market. And there's an area when you go to Old Dubai and they've got all these different spice shops, and as far as I know, they import a lot of those spices from
really.
Yeah, you've got people that
I guess Dubai
are in,
doesn't have much
like Afghanistan. They're
right,
Afghanistani, or like a lot of Asians, like South Asians that are there, and they import a lot of these
because it's a desert.
Yeah,
I forget it's a desert.
Yeah, they import a lot, but they have a specific area. Like, I think Dubai. Where's Dubai again?
Middle East, UAE.
Emirates. Yeah, the UAE. Those types of places are probably like trade heavy.
Yeah.
So they would trade in different things, and I think spice was one of those things. But you can go there, and I bought back like a curry mix. I bought back I think it was 14 different spices. He could have been lying to me. I don't even know. But it was really nice. I used it on grilled chicken for about 6 months. Yeah, I was banging on about it, and it was nice. And I'd have the 14 mixed Dubai spice mix with preserved lemons, olive oil, and then like a little bit of honey, and it was banging. That's probably why I stopped doing chicken wraps, because I ran out of it. And
really?
And it was saltless. All of their spice mixes are saltless. But the curry mix I've started using, because curry mixes tend to last a lot longer. According to my mother, could be an old wives' tale, but it's still very potent in flavour. And so I've started using that a lot more. And then they have loads of shops that sell saffron.
Right.
And the thing with saffron is
it's supposed to be rare, no?
It's very hard to cultivate, and I think it takes up a lot of land mass, because what you get it's like a certain part of the flower. It's threads from the flower, but in order to actually get like 4 threads, you're planting a lot of flowers. So it's extremely intensive, like land intensive, and you get a lot of people that basically dye threads from other plants in a pigment, and it's not real. Yeah, so the way that I should probably research this. There is a way to know how, if your saffron is authentic, and if you drop the saffron into warm water, and I believe it's meant to float, and the water should turn into like a reddish kind of colour. If it doesn't float or something like that, then it's not real.
Really? I'm looking at
we will post a video.
Yeah, I'm looking at the page now, looking at saffron, and saffron crocus sativus. It's a flower with yellow pollen, but it does have these three threads per flower.
Exactly. So the way to know, it says if a thread does not bulge at one end is fake. If you rub real saffron between your fingers, your skin will turn yellow, orange. And with fake saffron, because they've dyed it to get that red pigment, the water will turn red. So your water should turn to a yellow, orangey kind of colour. That
makes sense, because our fritters were yellow. I know that when you use saffron, it ends up being more of a yellow thing.
Yeah, so that's how to know if it's fake. And then also, it says saffron smells sweet. While saffron smells sweet, it tastes bitter, slightly bitter, not sweet. So if you have it and it tastes too sweet, then it's probably not real. But in Dubai, they've got a lot of fake stuff. And they will charge you an arm and a leg, so you have to learn how to haggle. You got to be a boss out there. I was really haggling for my life, and I was like, put it in water. I want to see if it's real. And no, this and that. But yeah, Dubai Spice Souk, it was an experience. Really great.
It says on this page I'm looking at that saffron goes for, the current value of saffron is $5,000 per kilo.
Yeah.
Saffron has long been the world's costliest spice by weight.
Yeah. But I can imagine just to cultivate it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
My other favourite, very expensive spice, I'm going to assume, is vanilla.
Yeah.
That's a spice, right?
It is. I think
it's a dried bean.
Yeah, I think vanilla is vanilla. Is vanilla a spice? I think it is. Vanilla is a spice derived from orchards of the genus Vanilla, primarily obtained from pods of the species flat-leaved vanilla.
I love vanilla.
Yeah.
Shout out to Holly.
Oh yeah.
Holly Haynes at It's Holly. We measure vanilla with our heart meats.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Our heart meats.
Heart meats.
Yeah.
I absolutely love vanilla. I love, obviously, baking background. I love vanilla.
Yeah.
I love good quality vanilla. It can get costly, And there are ways that, actually, I will link in the description of this episode. Scrap that. I will link in the show notes of this episode a video from Claire Saffitz of how to make your own vanilla extract at home. So the thing about vanilla that can end up getting quite costly is that a lot of vanilla extracts are ethanol based.
Oh, okay.
So that's the cheapest way, is literally to put...
Why do I feel like we spoke about... You've mentioned this
maybe.
in another episode.
Yeah, vanilla pods into vodka.
Yeah.
And you can make vanilla extract. You obviously have to leave it for a while. But that product, for example, is not halal.
Yeah.
So I used to get particular brands of vanilla extracts or essences that were halal or just full bean pastes that obviously are more of the actual product.
I was talking about Nielsen Massey.
Nielsen Massey is a brand. Nielsen Massey.
Yeah.
There was, do you remember the one I saw when I was in America?
And it was
a green label and you were like, bring it back. And then I told you the price and you were like, maybe
forget
not.
It. Yeah.
Hang on, I want to pull it up. When I was in New York, I went to Williams-Sonoma, which is like just it's my favorite home store besides like West Elm. It's different because it's more food and produce. But anyway, and Nielsen Massey actually have a collaboration blended exclusively for Williams-Sonoma, and it is their Madagascar and Mexican pure vanilla extract.
I can imagine. I can't even imagine actually how amazing that tastes.
It's 200. The bottle is 236 milliliters, which is 8 fluid ounces. I mean, it's in my hand. It's like the size of the palm of my hand, and it was $54.95.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like if you get that, you've got to make some. I need that for my birthday blondies that you're gonna make me.
This one is kosher.
Yeah.
But it's not halal because it's got alcohol in it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Be just mindful. Some of the vanilla products that you get may be extracted using alcohol-based process.
Okay.
But there are many that you can get without, but they might be a little bit more costly. Vanilla bean pods.
Yeah.
I know I keep talking about infusing milk like I even drink milk, but it's just it's so good. You love a vanilla speckle.
I do. I love to see the little black
dots.
I love it. The speckles, the freckles in there. It's really, really nice. The last kind of like spices that I like on a day-to-day basis, and I've mentioned this on more than one occasion, I talk about it on Instagram all the time, is the mixed peppercorns.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you've got like pink peppercorns, white peppercorns, black peppercorns, green peppercorns, and also pimento in mixed peppercorns, which you can get from the supermarket.
Yep.
And pink peppercorns are quite popular because they are the most sweet and fragrant. Sweet, fragrant.
They're not spicy pepper.
Yeah, they do have almost like a perfume, kind of floral type of property to them. White peppercorns, they use white pepper in a lot of Asian cooking
and baking.
Yeah, do they? I didn't know that
because it's milder. So if you use ground white pepper in like I think I've used it in like a spiced apple cake. Ruby Tando has this spiced apple cake with white pepper.
Actually, do you know what? Let me take that back. I don't know if they use it in Asian cooking. However, what I've seen in recipes and online is that it tends to call for white pepper as opposed to black pepper.
You are traumatized from the racists in the comments.
I don't know, but that's just what I've seen. Living in London, the UK. So
at the ripe old age of.
Yeah, at this time of my life. Green peppercorns, I don't really see those being used a lot, but I think maybe, no, in steak sauces, they tend to use black peppercorns. So yeah, but if you're over in the supermarket, I would highly advise you to pick up some mixed peppercorns and ground them.
Yeah.
Because it's got the pink peppercorn and it's got the pimento and it's got the black pepper. It is just beautiful. I absolutely love it.
The green peppercorns, green peppercorns are what is also known as Thai pepper.
Okay.
And you know when you go to Basaba and you get the calamari and there's like a little
stem. Green peppercorn.
No. Well, it's whole green peppercorns on the vine.
Oh, okay.
But I think they're either dried on the vine or they're like maybe they're deep fried as well because obviously it's a fried produce. But I was literally sitting here thinking to myself,
green and white.
They come like this.
Okay, yeah.
That's how it comes.
Okay, Thai peppercorn. So yeah, the green and white tends to be used in different ways. We don't really use green and white
as much
pepper on the western side of the world. I use a lot of black pepper, but as a combination, I would definitely recommend mixed peppercorns.
Fantastic. I believe you have some resources to share.
I do. So it's a couple of books from the library over at my house. I've got The Science of Spice by Dr. Stuart Farrimond. I really do like this book. If there's something that you've seen that you've never tried before, it gives you a lot of information on each page about like where it's derived from, some of the signature notes, how to use it, some of the history, how to pair it, etc. So really interesting book. I just got this off Amazon quite a while ago, so I can't quite remember the price.
It might be printed in.
£20.
There you go.
But this is a very good theoretical book.
Yeah.
And it's helpful when you want to actually start utilising different spices in your
And it's not a recipe book,
kitchen.
is it?
It's got a few recipes in there, but predominantly
Like
no, it's a theory book.
Nice. A bit like salt
Fat acid heat.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
I
got
want
almost
this.
every kind of spice that you...
Oh, sumac.
Yeah, I love sumac. I use that on like salads. I use it on meat as well sometimes. And
Cardamom,
fish.
my babe.
Yeah.
Cumin, my other babe.
Yeah, really good
Mastic. Book. Oh my gosh, I'm getting this. I'll put the link in the bio as I'm purchasing it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
And then I've got another one, Herbs and Spices, The Cook's Reference, over 200 herbs and spices with recipes for marinades, spice rubs, oils and more by Jill Norman. Again, from Amazon. This one is $16.99. And it's a similar kind of format to The Science of Spice, where it's got a page for each different spice or herb. And then it's got different sections where it tells you how to utilize them, different varieties, recipes, and this one is a bit more expansive because this is herbs and spices.
Yeah.
So there are some herbs that are utilized as spices that
there's
show up.
a bay leaf on the front of this.
Exactly, and it's got ginger as well.
Yeah.
So there are some that are kind of a bit of a crossover, and then there are some herbs that are truly just utilized as herbs. So I think we probably need to do another episode about herbs specifically, but those are 2 books if you want to learn more or expand your knowledge or try different things and you don't know how to use them, because I think sometimes with people it's the fear of how to use something, and once you have the information, then it might not be appropriate to put it in your cornmeal porridge, but it tastes great on a bit of grilled chicken. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and some things are better on fish and seafood than they are on white meats, red meats, etc. So
100%.
Yeah.
I'm buying this. In fact, you might be buying this.
I was going to say, you look like you want to steal it.
I might be keeping this and you might be buying it.
Yeah.
This, I've literally just opened a few random pages here. Spices I've never heard of. Grains of selim.
Yeah.
Lemon myrtle I have heard of, but I've never actually used. Oh, lemongrass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tamarind.
Yeah. But I feel like this book is really great because I went through a phase where I was using it quite a bit and I was pairing things together that I would never really have thought of before, because you don't always understand the scientific complexity of that particular spice and how you can get more out of it when you pair it with adding vanilla to X, Y, and Z can draw out this, and it's really helpful.
I've just opened the page here on chili varieties,
Yeah.
and there is one thing that I really want to learn to do, and that is use chilies, particularly dry chilies, because there are loads of Mexican dishes that call for rehydration of dry chilies that make like the bases for sauces or seasonings, and I can't remember his name now. I can't remember his name. He's an ex-Bon Appetit chef. He is Mexican and does a lot of that kind of cooking. And every time I look at it, and he smokes the peppers again, and puts them over this. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to get this book and get into chili. Oh, poppy. Okay.
Right. Okay, so we'll do another episode about herbs.
Yeah, we haven't touched on a couple of things.
Herbs.
So many herbs that we can get into.
There's loads of spices and stuff though, so this is a conversation we can revisit a few times. But if there's any that we haven't mentioned that you guys love or utilize quite a bit, please let us know, because we might not even have them in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. We probably don't.
We only cook sometimes.
This is about the magic of eating, not cooking.
Literally.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. We hope you learned something new. This has been quite enjoyable, this one.
Yes. And actually, before we go, did you know that spices last quite a long time? Some people say they don't go off, and it's not necessarily that they don't mold in the same way as other fresh produce, but they lose potency over time. So they advise that with spices, you don't keep them for more than 1, max 4 years. But most people say you should rotate them out of your kitchen within a year. Yeah, so buy small where you can. Yeah. And if you're not going to get through it very quickly, don't buy those big Kirkland packs from Costco. They're not for home use. So yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.